everybody, my name is Danielle Nicole and welcome to Monetary Makeup. So for those who caught my hidden clip from my previous video, I mentioned that I've been trying out the Nikkie Tutorials Nimya Where It All Starts cream. And I mentioned that I had some pretty unique experiences with this product for my skin type. So as much as I love first impressions and they're super fun and can be very entertaining, I always try and basically try out products before I actually review them on camera, because sometimes certain products work better with other products, or other times they can be a little bit finicky. So I've actually been using this Nimya cream for a couple of weeks now. So we are going to get into all the details of what happened and also do a review and demo of this Nimya product. And while we review the Nimya Where It All Starts cream, the topic of the day is going to be regarding underwriting for certain insurance policies and some of the questions that I typically get regarding underwriting in general. So if you have ever had any questions regarding underwriting, then you're definitely not going to want to miss this topic of the day. So if you're excited to hear my thoughts about this Nimya Where It All Starts cream and what actually happened with my skin, as well as learn a little bit more about underwriting regarding insurances, then definitely don't forget to hit the notification bell, the like button, and let's get started right now. Okay, so before we actually cut into the details and the information and the review about this product, I just have to share with you my initial experience with this product. So as I mentioned, I have been using this for a couple of weeks, which I typically like to do if I have the time. That way I can give you a much more detailed, thorough review instead of just my initial thoughts. So I am someone who has oily, dehydrated, acne-prone skin that is also sensitive. I'm also entering my mid-30s, so I'm starting to get fine lines, all of that good stuff. So pretty much any sort of skin concern, I pretty much suffer with it. Now, if you also suffer from adult acne, I can completely appreciate where you're coming from and the concerns that you have. So just to give you a little bit of information about my skin type, I used to get very severe acne as a teenager, and it pretty much started off when I hit puberty, and I never really outgrew it, unfortunately. But the one thing I do have to say about my skin is that once I did enter my 20s, that really severe cystic acne that I used to get, those huge welts all over my face, that did go away. So pretty much now I just suffer from blemishes or small pimples. But when it comes to those really severe big cystic acne, it has been probably at least 15-20 years since I've had an episode with that. So the only thing I changed in my skincare or makeup routine in the last couple of weeks was I added in using this as a primer. Now I'll get into all the details about this product, but I do find it doesn't provide enough moisturizer or hydration to use as a duo. So I tried that once, not going in with any moisturizer or hydration. It just didn't work. So I have been using it as a primer solely for the last couple of weeks. Now, upon initial application of this product, by the end of the night, I started to develop those cystic acne spots. You know when they first start to develop and you can kind of feel them underneath your skin starting to occur? That's what I realized was happening. And I just thought, well, maybe my skin is going through something. Maybe it's hormones or food. There's so many different reasons you could be having a breakout. But nothing else has changed, even my diet, other than using this. So the next day, my skin turned from having just a couple of underground deep blemishes to having full-blown cystic acne almost everywhere. So you guys, my entire chin, it had 6 to 10 different welts that were so huge, it almost looked like I had blisters on my chin. It felt like my chin was out to here because it was so inflamed. So not only did I experience that on my chin, but I also experienced it on my cheekbones, and I'll show you up close my skin when we cut into with no makeup on. But you'll be able to see that those spots are still healing, And those initial breakouts started about 2.5 weeks ago. So it's been a long time for my skin to heal. So I just wanted to mention that my skin completely freaked out with this product and I had those huge cystic breakouts. I am hoping I am just one of those people that this product just does not agree with my skin. If you've used this, definitely comment down below and let me know, especially if you do suffer with adult acne as well, because I'm really curious to know if I'm the only one that had this experience. Now, I did stop using this product for about a week, and my skin started to clear up by the second day. So again, just another reason why I think that this could be what caused it. Again, it's hard to know for certain, but that's just what my beliefs are thus far. So I just wanted to mention that was my initial experience for a couple of weeks, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm a little bit nervous to go in with this product again, but it's for the video. So if I end up having a major breakouts and my skin goes crazy again, as I said, it's for you guys. So if you could please give this video a like and share it with someone else who you think may find it valuable, that would be so appreciated. My skin has been through you know what and back, so I would really appreciate it, and I do of course just want to help other people with my reviews. Alright, next let's get into the details. So before I actually start the application process of this cream, I wanted to go over some of the details since it is a newer product. So in case you're not familiar, the Where It All Starts cream is kind of like a primer moisturizer duo. On the back of the box it reads, Where It All Starts cream, moisturizer / primer hybrid. Where It All Starts cream creates a perfect canvas for luminous skin, but can also help you prime the face for those iconic makeup days. How to use? Apply on a clean face, massage the cream into the skin until absorbed. Where It All Starts cream by Nimya will leave a comfortable sticky feel, perfect for an everyday glow, plus improving the longevity of your makeup look. Close lid tightly after use. So first, let's open the box and start with the packaging. So first off, I do just have to point out the packaging is really cute. It really is. So when you open up the box, there is actually a couple different pictures of Nikkie Tutorials in here, and she gives a few other tips about application. So on the inside, there are 3 tips. Hello guys, it's me, Nikkie. Well, it's Danielle, but as if I was Nikkie. Step number 1. Apply before foundation for a long-lasting soft base throughout the day. Number 2, wear alone for a gorgeous, radiant, and natural base, or add some drops of the Nimya Glow Serum to take your glow to space and beyond. Now, I did not pick up the Glow Serum. I first wanted to start off with the cream, and then if I enjoyed it, I thought I would pick up the serum in the future, so just wanted to mention that. Step number 3, store in the fridge and then apply if you need an extra boost of confidence. And number 4, after applying, gently tap skin with your fingers to get the blood stimulation going and for optimal absorption of the ingredients. There's actually another picture of her right inside the box right here. So I know it's just a box, but it is really cute. You can tell that there was a lot of thought that went into the actual packaging. So once you open up the actual cream, you do get 1.52 fluid ounces or 45 mLs. So this is one of the most unique, beautiful packages I have ever seen for any sort of primer or moisturizer. I don't think this is glass. It may be acrylic, I'm not for sure, but this is very heavy, so it does feel very luxurious. And then just the overall packaging of this, I mean, it is so sleek. So you have the clear on the outside and then the blue and the orange. So overall, I give it an A+ for packaging. It is really cool. Now I'm going to zoom you all in. You guys know I don't use any sort of filters. I have no shame in showing my skin. We're all human. Yes, some people are more fortunate to have that perfect base. I'm not one of those people. I've just learned to deal with it, and it is what it is. Okay, so I've got my hair pulled back for you guys. So when I say my skin is looking amazing to how it was looking even a couple of days ago, So I had probably 8 different spots all throughout my chin, also on my cheeks here, and also a couple of spots here. So see, you can still see that breakout as well as these. So this is after my skin has healed. But anyway, just wanted to show you what my skin is looking like with nothing on it except for moisturizer. So let's open this up. This is such beautiful packaging, and I feel like you do get a ton of product for the price point. So that's amazing right there. But anyways, you open it up and it just has a screw-on lid, and it does completely seal and click into place, so I really appreciate that. So this does smell really good. It's a very light scent. It's nothing too strong, but if you are sensitive to smells, it is noticeable, and it does dissipate after it's on the skin, but when you initially open it up, you can definitely smell it. You know what it reminds me of? Did you guys ever eat those orange dreamsicles or orange creamsicles as a kid? This is exactly the scent that it reminds me of. And it smells really good. I almost want to eat it. It smells that good. So I'm just going to dip in and start rubbing this on my skin. Now I did try applying this on my eyes. I don't recommend that because when I tried to apply eye primer and go in with other products such as concealer as well, it started to pill really bad. So I don't recommend using it in that area. So I'm just going to apply this all over my skin minus the eye area. Now I'm going to leave this on as long as I can. It's not going to be a 10 or 12 hour day like I typically try to. You guys, I'm just so nervous to leave this on my skin for more than a couple hours. So we'll still do somewhat of a wear test, but it's not going to be all day. So I just did one thin layer. I do find this is a product that you really should go in with as much as you want because it does have a tacky finish. So if you apply just a light layer and then you go in with more, at least what I found is that because of that tackiness, it can get a little bit patchy. So I'm not going to go ham with it. This is just what my skin is looking like with one layer. So I don't know if you can tell, but see, it does leave a beautiful sheen. I mean, I love the way my skin looks, and I would be totally comfortable, minus the breakout issue, wearing just this without any makeup on no makeup days. What do you guys think? Do you like how that first layer looks? Let me know. Okay, so hopefully the tips so far are helpful for you guys. If you haven't already, if you could please hit the like button so this can spread to more people, that would be amazing. So now that that primer moisturizer has had a couple of minutes to sink in, I think it looks exactly the same. It does leave a little bit of a tacky feel, which it claims to do, which is supposed to help prolong the wear of your makeup, of course. So next I'm going to go in with the Tarte Hydro Flax C foundation in the shade 14B. I thought this foundation would be great to use today because it has a natural finish. So I didn't want to go in with a full matte foundation, and I didn't want to go in with a full dewy foundation. This is kind of that perfect balance, so that way you can actually see if the finish alters how your foundation performs. So let's bounce this on my skin. This is one of my favorite foundations. I did review it back when it first came out. I will link that video right up here for you guys if you have not seen it. This is one of the most natural looking foundations in my opinion. And what's great is you can really adjust the finish. So if you're more dry, you can go in with a more hydrating, dewy, or luminous primer. Or if you're looking for a more matte look, you can go in with a more matte primer. And the foundation really does adjust to your skin. It's just incredible. It's one of my favorite foundations. So I use this foundation all the time, and it really does last forever. Even though I use it, gosh, every week, almost every day. I just can't say enough good things about it. And the undertones of this foundation are spot on. Do you know how hard it is to find a fair to light, cool undertone, a true cool undertone foundation? that doesn't run yellow or orange. I mean, the struggle is real. Amen if you can understand those struggles, right? So I just have foundation on this half of my face and the forehead. So this is with foundation, very, very minimal layer, and this is nothing. Have you guys heard Sonia G is planning on restocking her Lotus set brushes? Oh, I'm so excited. If I'm not using a sponge, I'm using the Lotus base brush. This brush, incredible. Now, I always use the tip of my sponge to get in around my nose. I see so many people that go in with just the butt of the sponge all over. How do they get in between the creases of the nose? I always wondered that. That's why I really like this sponge, because of how it's cut. So this is a great day to do some testing because I have a ton of dehydration. I'm going to come in a little bit closer, and I want you to really look and pay particular attention to around my nose and kind of my T-zone area, because as much as I love the finish of this, it's not super moisturizing. So to me, it just looks kind of like I have some dry patches. So tell me what you guys think as I come in a little bit closer. You see, like right along the nose, it just looks a little bit dry. Everywhere else around the outside of my skin looks really beautiful, I think. So my other tip would be, if you have any sort of dehydration or dry skin, I would recommend going in with this product more around the outside of your face and maybe the high points as well. Next, I'm going to add a little bit of the Kosas Revealer Concealer in the shade 0.5N. This is one of my holy grail concealers that I included in my Sephora video. Now, I typically cannot not use eye primer, but again, this channel is for busy moms or busy women in general, so I'm going to create the holy mistake that Robert Welsh says to never do, and I totally stand behind. I'm just going to put this concealer all over my eyes. I typically don't do because it will crease, 100% will crease, but we're in a hurry today. I don't have time to be messing with eye primer, so we're just gonna get it on. Do you guys remember the day that you discovered eye primer? At least I know I did. I used to use concealer as an eye primer every day. I didn't know any difference, and once I watched Robert Welsh and he said, no, really try an eye primer because concealer is more hydrating and meant for under the eyes, my eyes never crease anymore. So I'm, again, making that mistake on purpose. I typically don't. But sometimes in makeup, you have to make some sacrifices with what is most important, your time or the finish. And today we're going with time. Okay, so I just finished applying concealer, and I'm just so bummed about how my nose looks. Can you see how dry it looks in that area? Again, I know that's not from the foundation, it's from the moisturizer where it all starts cream, sadly. Just on my dry areas, it doesn't really hydrate enough for me. This is just driving me nuts. I'm going to add just a little bit of concealer down my nose just to see if this concealer that has some skincare ingredients in it, just to see if that can bring a little bit of dew back to my nose. Also, if you're looking for a concealer that looks beautiful on the skin, that Kosas concealer, oh, I've used that as foundation before and it is beautiful. Okay, so as far as just general base products go, the outside portion of my skin I think does look beautiful. It has a nice luminous glow, so I love this for the outside portions and the high points. But when it comes to those dry patches, you guys, it's just, like I said, it's just not hydrating enough for me. Really quick, just wanted to point out, Mr. Robert Welsh, you really know your stuff, you guys. I did the sin. I put the concealer on the eyes. Look what happened. It's only been a couple of minutes. Check this out. Look at that creasing. I mean, that is for real creasing. Okay, guys, so I just finished up almost all of my makeup. Pretty much the only thing I have all over my eyes, my lips, and my face and cheeks is the RMS Breedy Bronzer. So I'm going to zoom you in so you can see what my skin is looking like with the Nimya Where It All Starts cream. Now, I did not set with powder yet because I wanted to show you what my skin is looking like before powder. So let me zoom you in. Okay, so we are really up close and personal right now. So as I mentioned, I have no powder on. The one thing I would say is from far away, I think my skin looks beautiful. It has that nice luminous glow from the Nimya primer. The issue I have is more on the center of my face, as I keep mentioning, with all the dehydration. So I'm going to zoom in and kind of pan left to right, and I want you to pay attention to the outside of my skin versus my nose. So let me come in a little closer. So as I mentioned, I think the outside just looks beautiful. It's so luminous, but it's not super dewy. But take a look at my nose, you guys. Can you see? Please comment down below if you can see what I'm referring to. Can you see how dry my skin and my pores look right here? I don't know. I'm not sure if you can see on camera, but in real life, it looks like I have a bunch of foundation missing from my nose, and where it's not missing, it looks like I have, I don't want to say shimmer, but it looks luminous, and the dry patches are emphasized. So this is what my skin is looking like before powder. So next, I want to use a little bit of setting powder, so that way you can see what my skin is looking like after with the Nimya cream. So I'm going to go in with my damp beauty blender. It's almost dry now, but still just a tiny bit damp. And I am going to use the By Terry Hyaluronic Powder. This is an amazing powder. If you have any sort of texture or dry patches, this powder doesn't emphasize anything. It's expensive, but is it worth it? 100% in my opinion. So let's go in with this next. So I'm keeping you guys zoomed in, and I have a ton of these By Terry powders, but can you see that powder that just shot up? But I want to use the little sample size I have first. Now, I never used to wear powder until I discovered a few of my favorites that actually Mel Thompson turned me on to. So I'm going to be doing a video soon of all of my favorites. Hint, this is one of them. I miss her so much. She had just such an amazing personality, soul, just beautiful person all around. So sad. Now when I do use powder, I do typically use a damp sponge, especially when I'm more dehydrated. So I'm really curious how my nose is going to look, if this powder is going to blur those spots or if it's going to kind of bring to fruition those portions from the primer that are dehydrated. Okay, so I just finished applying the By Terry powder, and the one thing I have to say, this powder creates miracles on my skin. It doesn't matter if I have texture, dehydration, acne, anything like that. It typically smooths out everything. So the fact that I'm looking up close, you can almost see where the primer has gripped to that powder. So I like the way my skin looked before powder, but even then, I'm just not a fan of this primer, you guys. I think it is too sticky, so if you have any sort of texture or dry patches, even cream products really pull onto it. So let me come a little bit closer and hopefully you can see what I'm referring to. So pay attention to my nose like I mentioned, and also around my chin. Can you see all that texture? And that is from the primer, I know for sure, not the powder. Okay, so like I mentioned, I am just not a fan so far, but I am going to apply the e.l.f. Plus Glow Dewy Mist. This is my Ride or Die setting spray. It typically smooths out everything. So let's see if it makes any sort of a difference to kind of melt that primer in with the powders. Okay, so while my setting spray sinks in, let's cut into the topic of the day. Hi everybody, welcome to the topic of the day. So I get a lot of questions regarding underwriting when it comes to any sort of insurance. It doesn't matter if it's long-term care, life insurance, Medicare, ACA. So I just wanted to clear up some of those questions today. So first off, when it comes to the ACA or Obamacare, they no longer have any sort of underwriting. So you no longer have to worry if you have health to qualify for coverage for Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act. Now, when it comes to other sort of insurances, what does underwriting actually mean? So there are typically 3 stages with underwriting. Now, every company and every insurance has different type of underwriting levels. So within those underwriting levels, there are actually 3 different ones. So the first one is regarding pulling your MIB report. So what your MIB report basically means pulling up your medical history. So the MIB report is more particularly common when we're discussing Medicare insurances. So when it comes to Medicare supplement policies, if you are outside of your open enrollment period or your initial enrollment period, then typically they pull what's called your MIB report. All that means is fancy language for pulling up your medical history. Now, sometimes certain insurances require additional underwriting. So what additional underwriting means is sometimes they have to collect fluids. So this is much more common with life insurance. So if you run into any sort of health underwriting with life insurance, not only will they most likely pull your medical history, but typically you have to pull your fluids, which means doing a blood and urine sample. So one option for medical underwriting is simply having the agent ask you health questions. So this is where the agent has so many questions that they have to run through with you to determine whether they think you may qualify for coverage or not. So just to recap, if you have to undergo any sort of health underwriting, that could mean one of the following things. 1, it can mean that the agent has to ask you health questions to determine whether or not they think you may be approved for the coverage in the first place. The second option, which could be an and/or situation, is pulling your MIB or simply looking at your health history. So this includes all of your medical health records. And the third option could be also an and/or. So this could entail getting any sort of fluid collections, which is typically pulling a blood and urine sample. So those are the 3 different ways that insurance companies can determine whether or not you will be eligible for coverage due to health underwriting. So if you have any questions regarding the topic of the day, don't forget to comment monetary makeup down below and let me know. All right, next let's get into the wear test and my final thoughts. So first off, I do have to say, as far as how the actual primer looks on the skin, if you don't go in with any sort of makeup and you're looking for a primer to just give you a nice healthy glow, it does leave a beautiful luminous finish. The issue I have with this primer moisturizer is, first off, if you have any sort of dry patches or dehydration, I don't agree with the claims being that you can use this in place of a moisturizer. So I do highly recommend you go in with a moisturizer first, let it sink in, and then go in with this primer. And next, as I've mentioned throughout the entire video, I do think that this primer looks beautiful on the outside of my skin, but when it comes to my dry patches where my dehydration is, especially on the T-zone and my chin, let me know down below if you could actually see that texture on camera, but I'm just not a fan of how my skin looks in this particular area. Now this is a real bummer because, like I mentioned, I think it does leave a beautiful sheen on the skin. I would just be a little bit hesitant if you have any sort of texture or dry patches, especially like me through the T-zone, because when I do apply even all cream products like I did initially, you could definitely see where that texture was shining through, and then when I went in with powder, it was even more emphasized in those areas. And lastly, as I mentioned, I am so bummed but I do believe that this product made me break out in severe hormonal acne. Now, as someone who suffers with adult acne, I am very familiar with how my skin typically reacts. So the fact that I got those huge underground blemishes so quickly, and this is the only product that I use that's different, I just can't help but think this caused my skin to just not agree with it. If any of you have tried this cream and you do also suffer from adult acne or you have sensitive skin, please let me know down below. Because as I mentioned, I really hope I'm that 1 in 100,000 people that I just happen to have an acne reaction to it. But I am curious if others have had that experience or if it's just me. So I hope the topic of the day with underwriting and going through medical reports was helpful for you all, as well as reviewing the Nimya Where It All Starts cream. Wanted to share all of my honest opinions. As much as it is a beautiful finish, it's just one of those things, it just doesn't agree with my skin, and that can definitely happen. So I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the review, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who you might think will find it beneficial. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!